Hi, it's Susanna from Smart Pig Marketing. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about how we can take long-term goals and break them down into action steps. The reason this is important is because these long-term goals often take a lot of time and effort, and it's easy to get either overwhelmed from the get-go, not being sure where to start and what you should work on first. And it's also possible that you will get kind of bogged down in the middle of it. You get unmotivated, you get frustrated, you don't really see the progress, especially if we're talking about something that can take weeks or months to complete. So what I want to do is walk you through an 8-step process to take that long-term goal for a big project. And the example we're going to use is to create an online course about digital marketing. Something I'm very familiar with, and I'm sure it's something you have seen here and there as well. Maybe it's even a goal that's similar to what you want to do no matter what niche you're in. And actually, if you'd like, share in the comments below what kind of niche you're in, what kind of long-term goals you're working toward, and maybe we can have a little discussion back and forth about how to take your long-term goal and break it into action steps. So let's dive right in. We talked about why it is important, so let's start with step done. Step one. Step done would be nice, wouldn't it? So step one is to define your goal. And what you want to do is really get very specific about what your goal is. The framework we like to use is SMART goals. And I've talked about those in different videos. We have a whole course that I invite you to check out. It will be linked in the description below and also in the blog post that goes along with this video. But SMART goals are specific, measurable, actionable, or attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So you want to set a very defined goal, and in our example it's going to be something like create and launch a 10-module online course on digital marketing in 6 months. So we're very specific, we have something measurable. We can tell whether or not we've created the 10 modules. We have a deadline, it's time bound, we want to do it in 6 months. So it's a very defined goal. That is step one. Step two is to identify your major milestones. So this is where we start to break it down. We have the long-term goal defined. Now we're going to break it down into significant points of progress. And that will look a little bit different for every single project that you do, for every single long-term goal that you set for yourself. If it is something like growing your subscriber list, growing your followers, your milestones might be getting 500 subscribers, 1,000, 10,000 subscribers. If you're losing weight, you might break it down into 5 or 10 pound increments. For the example with the course, we don't have equal, even numbers that we can break it down in, but we can still break it down into milestones. So, for example, one of them would be to do the research and the planning for the course. What exactly do we want the course to be about? That could entitle the outline, that kind of thing. Step two would be content creation. We got to actually sit down and figure out what content we want to share in this 10-module course. Step three would be course development. That would include recording the videos, that kind of thing. And then step four would be launch and marketing. So breaking it down into these major milestones helps give you some guideposts that you can measure your progress on along the way. Then step three is to break it down even further from those milestones. So now we're going to take each of these milestones and we're going to break it down into small tasks or action items. This is the stuff that we're actually going to be working on a daily basis. So for example, going back to our example here, it could be tasks like researching the topics, creating the course outline, creating the slides for each module, sitting down and recording the video for each module, editing those videos, uploading them, figuring out the course software, those kind of things, creating the sales page. So those will be the individual tasks or action items that will help you reach your milestone. And if you reach all your milestones, you reach your goal. So that was step 3, breaking it down. Step 4 is set deadlines for each task. And here you want to be realistic. Give it your best guess. If these are tasks that you've done before, you probably have a pretty good guess about how long it will take you. If this is new, give it your best shot and then adjust as needed. I still to this day have to adjust my deadlines, and that's fine. It gives me something to shoot for, and I can adjust and change from there. And I'll have to admit, I'm not always the best at being realistic when I set my deadlines. I always overestimate how much I can get done in any given day. So be aware that that might be something you encounter as well. So for example, going back to our example, we might say that to create a detailed outline about all of the course content, we might take a week to do that, or maybe 3 days, 2 days, whatever feels good for you. Once you have those deadlines, it is time for step 5, and that will be prioritizing your tasks. So this is where you sit down and you determine the best order. Sometimes in some things it will be very straightforward. If we go back to the examples of growing a following or losing weight, you don't have the choice but to go from start at 500, go to 1,000, go to 2,000, that kind of thing. You can't skip around there. But for a task like creating the course, you want to see what's going on, especially if you have somebody else involved who maybe is writing the copy for your sales page or creating graphics for your slides. You want to figure out what you should be working on first, second, third in any given week, that kind of thing. So for example, going back to the course creation example, you don't want to start making your slides before you've had a chance to outline the course, because you don't want to have to backtrack and take something out of module 3 because it makes more sense to cover it in module 4 and that kind of thing. So prioritize your tasks. That was step 5. And then step 6 is track your progress. And this is one that's easy to overlook, but I encourage you to take the time to really track your progress on these long-term goals. It is incredibly motivating. It also shows you whether you're on track or not. And it helps show you that even when it feels like you're slogging along and you're not really making progress, that you are. Sometimes in the day-to-day, it seems like you're not really moving ahead, but if you look at it in the big scheme of things, and if you look at it on a weekly, monthly basis, you will see that progress that you've been making. So think about how you want to track that progress. You have a lot of different options there. It can be something as simple as a to-do list that maybe has your milestones and your action items on it. It could be some project management software. It can be a Kanban board, which is something I use quite frequently. Or to give you an example here, it could be something as simple as a Trello board, where you have your action items written down under each milestone, and you move those from a to-do folder to a in-progress folder, and from there into a done folder. And that will kind of show you your progress as you move along. Step 7, also important, is to adjust as needed. We talked a little bit about these deadlines, and that you sometimes give it your best guess, but things don't always happen on an ideal time frame. Things happen, setbacks happen, things take longer. Sometimes stuff goes wrong. Your video doesn't record right. It didn't upload. You messed up in editing. All of a sudden, as you get into the course, your outline doesn't make perfect sense and you need to go back and tweak it. That is okay. So be ready to adjust as needed. And one thing, a recent saying I've come across that I've really been embracing is setbacks are setups for comebacks. So don't give up. Use it as a learning opportunity. Go back, improve, make it even better, and go from there. So for example, with the course, you might change a couple of modules. You might take out or maybe add a bonus module when you realize there's a step in there that you need to explain in a little bit more detail. And then you can, of course, also adjust your deadlines as needed to stay flexible. And then step 8, I saved the best for last. It's to celebrate the small wins. Long-term goals take a lot of time and effort. It takes effort on your part to stay motivated and to stick it out. Creating a course is a big undertaking. It's a big task. Getting 1,000 YouTube subscribers, it's a big task. You gotta celebrate the small wins. That's what keeps you going. That's what makes this fun. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Running your own business is hard work. It's much easier to work for somebody else and to just do a 9-to-5 clock out and forget about it. We're here because we're driven. We want to do things our way. We want to contribute. And that means doing the hard work and celebrating those small wins. So going back to our example, maybe it's giving yourself a little reward, whatever motivates you, whatever sounds good to you after recording all the video lessons. And yes, I totally have a little reward planned for myself after I get today's video recorded, edited, and uploaded. And no, I'm not telling you what it is, but you're welcome to give me your best guess down in the comments. I hope you found this helpful. I'll quickly run you through the 8 steps one more time. It's a great way to make sure you take these long-term goals and break them down into action items. So our process was to define your goal, then identify major milestones. From there, we break it down into action items. We set deadlines for each task or action item. We prioritize the tasks. We track the progress. We adjust as needed. And we celebrate small wins. I hope you found it helpful. I would love it if you could give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. We have plenty more awesome, helpful content coming your way.